British Columbia's new tolls on all commercial traffic to Alaska hit like a shockwave. Businesses on both sides braced for impact as trucking companies scrambled to assess the fallout. Premier Tremblay defended the move, citing infrastructure costs, but many saw it as a trade tactic. Stock futures dipped, and uncertainty spread fast. For border communities, the news was unsettling. The region's economic future suddenly felt unpredictable. The US and Canada share one of the world's largest trade relationships, but it's often rocky. Decades of softwood lumber disputes, dairy tensions, and tariffs have tested both sides. The new BC tolls are just the latest chapter in a long saga. Every incident adds to a history of rivalry beneath the partnership. It's more than a regional squabble. It's a test of the entire US-Canada relationship. British Columbia's leaders stood firm. Premier Tremblay insisted the tolls were about fairness. BC taxpayers have carried the load for too long, she argued. Alaska-bound trucks, she said, put heavy strain on BC's highways. The province pointed to mounting infrastructure costs, especially on routes like the Stewart-Cassiar. Fuel taxes and existing fees, they claimed, don't cover the wear and tear. "This is a user pay system," said the Minister of Transportation. "We're just asking everyone to contribute." Environmental concerns were also raised. More trucks mean more emissions. Some toll revenue, BC suggested, could fund green initiatives. Critics, however, saw this as a smokescreen. "The timing and target are too specific," said a US trade official. "This is about leverage." The province denied any hostile intent, framing the tolls as a fiscal necessity. Budget pressures, they argued, left them little choice. "We have to look after our own citizens," Tremblay emphasized. But for Alaskans, the move felt targeted and punitive. The sense of being squeezed was hard to ignore. The debate over motives only deepened the rift. Was this about fairness or about flexing economic muscle? The answer depended on which side of the border you stood. The rhetoric was heating up. The search for common ground seemed distant. Both sides dug in, preparing for a drawn-out fight. The stakes kept rising. The US response was immediate and fierce. Alaska's governor called the tolls an economic blockade. "We won't be held hostage," she declared, demanding federal intervention. The outrage echoed in Washington, D.C. Former President Trump blasted the tolls as a disgrace and called for retaliatory tariffs. "They think they can push us around? Not on America's watch," he posted. The pressure on the Biden administration mounted. US officials lodged a formal protest, calling BC's move unacceptable. "This threatens vital trade," said Ambassador Cohen. "We urge BC to reconsider." Lawmakers from the Pacific Northwest warned of escalation. "Nobody wins in a trade war," said Senator Cantwell. The chorus of condemnation grew louder. The integrated regional economy was at risk. Calls for de-escalation clashed with demands for a tough response. Ottawa and BC faced mounting pressure to find a solution, but the rhetoric on both sides was already inflamed. The risk of tit-for-tat measures loomed. The situation was volatile. The stakes were rising by the hour. The world watched as tensions escalated. The path forward was uncertain. Both sides braced for the next move. The trade relationship was on a knife's edge. Alaska's geography makes it uniquely exposed. Overland routes through BC are economic lifelines. The Alaska Highway and Stewart-Cassiar aren't just roads, they're survival. Shipping by sea is slower and pricier. Air freight is costly for bulk goods. Everyday essentials, groceries, building materials, medical supplies, move by truck through BC. Any disruption means higher prices for Alaskan families and businesses. "We're at the end of the supply chain," said Jonathan Miller of the Alaskan Truckers Association. The tolls hit hard, raising costs and threatening livelihoods. Alaska's resource industries, oil, gas, fishing, mining, depend on reliable transport. The new fees add complexity and risk. Alaska's competitiveness is at stake. This isn't the first time access has been threatened. Past disputes over ferries and border hours have left scars. Each incident reminds Alaskans of their vulnerability. "It's like they can turn off the tap whenever they want," said a Fairbanks business owner. The sense of isolation is real and growing. The tolls amplify long-standing fears. Calls for strong federal action intensified. Alaska's position is precarious. The pressure for a solution is urgent. The state's future hangs in the balance. This isn't just a BC-Alaska spat. The risk of a broader trade war is real. U.S. retaliation could target Canadian lumber, agriculture, auto parts, major industries. A regional dispute could spiral into a national crisis. Integrated supply chains would suffer. The auto sector, for example, relies on seamless cross-border movement. Tariffs and slowdowns create costly bottlenecks. A trade war is mutually destructive, warned a leading economist. Both economies would lose jobs and see prices rise. Investor confidence would take a hit. Uncertainty makes businesses hesitate to invest or expand. The chilling effect could slow growth on both sides. The US-Canada relationship is about more than trade. It's security, environment, shared values. A bitter dispute could poison cooperation on other fronts. "We can't let trade irritants jeopardize our partnership," said a former Canadian ambassador. "Careful management and dialogue are essential. The stakes go far beyond Alaskan truckers. The entire North American economy is at risk. The world is watching for signs of leadership. The next steps will shape the future of cross-border relations. The pressure to resolve this is immense. The only way forward is negotiation. Escalation and retaliation will only deepen the crisis. BC, US, and Canadian leaders must come to the table. Open, pragmatic dialogue is essential to avoid disaster. Business leaders on both sides are urging calm and swift resolution. We need our governments to work this out," said Sarah Hunter, a cross-border trade association president. "The livelihoods of thousands depend on it." The economic engine of North America relies on stability. Diplomacy is strength, not weakness. The US and Canada have a long record of resolving disputes peacefully. The Canada-United States-Mexico Agreement offers frameworks for negotiation. These tools must be used now. Retaliation serves no one, only pain and damaged relations. This is about preserving a vital partnership. The US and Canada are more than neighbors, they're deeply intertwined. Protecting this relationship takes constant effort and understanding. The BC tolls are a test of that commitment. Can both nations navigate this crisis and keep their alliance intact? Cooler heads must prevail. The future of North American trade depends on it. The world is watching for a solution. The time for talks is now.